listening to the books on tape because I never really read them as a kid. So.
Yeah. All right, we're live, boy. I'm your host, Boy Harrison Cordell, and we only have David Lake here.
Howdy.
For the Crimes of Grindelwald review.
Oh, gosh.
So stay tuned for that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, probably just get relatively right into it. I'm actually going to play Half-Blood Prince in the background for some visual references.
Oh, gosh.
We will not be distracted by it. It's not visually interesting. USA is what I was doing.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter?
Oh, my gosh. That movie was...
Okay.
It wasn't, like, terrible.
I thought it was better than Half-Blood Prince, but...
It just disappointed me a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, start off this review. I don't want to say it's bad.
I don't want to say that either, because that's a bold thing to say.
That's a bold thing. You know what? Actually, no, I'll say... I don't know. Maybe it's intentional that J.K. Rowling just made a bad one. To appreciate the other ones better.
That could be part of it.
Oh, you thought Half-Blood Prince was a ham-fisted setup?
Boom. Plop. Let's watch Crimes of Grindelwald. Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first Fantastic Beasts, right? That was well done.
That was very good.
It was on its own.
I think it was...
Very well done. They did a good job with the American...
It might be my top 5. I don't know.
I think it's there. It's good. It's good.
I don't like the fourth one too much, so yeah, I think it's better than that one.
That's fair. The first two, yeah, I mean, like we said, Dumbledore is good. The first two Harry Potters. But yeah, Fantastic Beasts, though, was well crafted.
If Fantastic Beasts was a very tight narrative that nobody could possibly think that they could go into 5 movies about. But then The Crimes of Grindelwald will prove that, they can drag this out to 5 movies.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of whatever.
But yeah, Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beats and Where to...
That'll be the musical version.
Fantastic Feasts and Where to Dine.
Where to Dine. Oh, gosh. Yes. But... Like, that movie on its own was, like, pretty good. I was like, okay, this is a good
It was, like, actual world building, not world telling.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've learned from this movie.
You could make another movie in that universe that had nothing to do with the original.
Yeah, just like, this is the Ministry of France.
Like, okay.
Get away from those no magiques.
No magiques. Oh, my gosh.
It's going to be light spoilers at the beginning for those at home.
Well, basically, there's just a speech.
We'll do a split. It's like
giving.
In the actual movie, there's like, it's pretty light on spoilers, and then halfway through it goes full on.
That's true.
Just right away.
We're not gonna. Yeah, we don't have to reveal.
Also, you shouldn't care about spoilers for this movie, to be honest.
The second half,
because it won't make sense in the movie.
This whole movie is set up
3 more.
4 more. No, yeah, 3. Sorry, 3 more other movies. That's what I got from watching it. I was like, so we're gonna take the first movie.
Yeah.
We don't really care what happened in the first movie. The only important character from the first movie is probably Credence, I guess, is the only thing like you need to really know about.
Yeah.
Like, you could watch...
Well, you need to know about all of them, but they do a pretty good job. They're defined enough to where you can probably understand
You would guess it, though.
When you watch it, yeah.
Yeah, like, the point is, like, the first movie is not that necessary.
Here's the thing about modern blockbusters. If you don't know how they work, just have somebody else explain them to you. Somebody knows.
Yes. So true. So true.
Somebody younger than you knows.
Oh my gosh. No magique. You know
No magiques.
No magiques. The French.
No mages.
The French magic of ministry.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
Okay, there's a lighthearted sort of direction of this film that I kind of noticed. I don't know if I appreciate it or not. But yeah. Is that every sort of like person that wasn't like involved with the story was just like people on the street just looking at Newt Scamander just hitting the ground or whatever, licking the ground. And it's just like, they just don't care and walk away, or just like an actual, like, borderline terrorist event.
Yeah.
Just like that.
It was pretty insane.
Walk away.
There's a couple of citywide events that go down that people kind of, like, mumble and are shocked about in the background for a second, and then they just, like, continue walking. Like, I was heavily paying attention to background characters.
There's, like, barely stakes in this movie.
It was real weird.
Like, in the first one, they talked about, there's, like, a good 10-minute scene about, like, oh my god, this creature just destroyed this entire building, and it's just like a slow investigation of that.
Yeah.
But then when it gets to... In this movie, they just talk about how... They just talk about, like, their past and, like, how it affected them, but they're just, like, kind of distant. Like, that's, like, a lot of this movie's inner conflict.
Yeah, the trailer totally milked that whole flashback. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so every time they go back to Hogwarts, Harrison and I would fake applause.
Yeah, we fake applause.
We weren't bold enough to actually
Red Letter Media style.
But, They bring back the classic theme and all of that.
The classic theme beat a Rowling thing.
And
And
you
it
go
looked pretty
deep
good.
down. It did.
Like, it was, like, brand new.
Hogwarts is looking cooler.
The lighting was weird. The lighting in this whole movie is just off.
I would agree with
Like, when it went to, like, darkness, like, it starts off in, like, really dark and stormy thing. That's, like, borderline seizure, but, like, I was kind of into it. Just like, ooh.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking that. I was like, I'm going to flip out right now. I'm going to spaz out. And
it wasn't Incredibles 2, but...
Yeah. That was, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like, we're watching a scene from Half-Blood Prince right now for visual reference. And that movie only looks good in the snow because it's just white and everything's just gray and blurry. And this does the exact opposite of that, almost to combat, like, all the people that complain about David Yates' color, even though people are still complaining about it.
Even though David Yates
like,
is still directing.
Small spoiler alert, in the beginning of the film, we start off with the Ministry of Magic, and it was almost unrecognizable. Just, like, it was the time of day, and, like, everything was just, like, day-litten.
Yeah.
And it just looked off. Like, it wasn't like the dark greens. Like, I watched Order of the Phoenix today, which is a great one. Really dark greens and blacks, which, like, does kind of work. It's a little bit desaturated, but there's, like, a point to it.
Yeah.
And then in Half-Blood Prince, it just becomes fuzzy gray and brown.
Oh my gosh. What was the deal with the weird animal at the beginning of the movie? Grindelwald's, like, pet thing.
Yeah, so...
So what was that?
Okay.
I don't want to get
Like,
too
spoilers. Let's just do the first scene.
Okay.
Because if you don't have it explained to you, you might not know what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's very confusing.
Okay, so we start off. Grindelwald is imprisoned by the American Ministry. We go there in like a really like beautiful sort of like Batman animated series-esque sort of pan across like this really darkened sky with like red lighting.
He's in
and
like
a lot. It's very good.
Cell.
It's The Last Jedi of tone. You know, it just has like these wacky sort of like characters you care about, and then just like really dark and grim.
There's nothing that's like world shattering though. They don't do anything that like messes with the whole universe.
I mean, they do. The whole movie messes with the universe.
Well, I mean, it does
because it's a setup for 5 movies.
But it's okay. Yeah, there's one big thing at the very end. We don't have to say.
I think there's multiple things.
Well, yeah, okay, but
we'll get to it.
Harrison know what I'm talking about though. The last thing though. That was too much for me. Brutal. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah. But that's fair. So it starts off and it's like really brutal. It's actually pretty well shot. It's like, this movie is looks well and is well shot. Which I wasn't exactly expecting it.
Pretty good.
But yeah, they're like carrying him through like this magic sort of prison. Everyone's like, oh, Grindelwald. Plotting it like it was Hogwarts Return to Life, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone was just applauding it like crazy. I was just like, yeah, we cut out his tongue because he's bad.
Yeah.
And then unsurprisingly, he is a guy. Yeah. He switched places with a bit part from the last film, which was like fine, but now his job is that he awkwardly sits around and is sweating.
Yep.
Like that's the rest of his character. That's every other bad guy.
Yeah.
Like in Half-Blood Prince, there's like a lot of the scenes where this is the Half-Blood Prince of like the new set of movies, except it looks way better and is like a little bit better acted, I think. Well, hold on. There's more focused performances.
I would say that, yeah. I wouldn't say better acted. There's just more...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at least the main two people have chemistry in Fantastic Beasts.
Oh. Ginny and Harry Potter.
Ginny and Harry Potter.
They're classic. They're classic lovebirds.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, you know it's a good love scene when it makes you uncomfortable the entire time.
Yeah.
Whenever the two characters
when their backs are just completely straight.
Yeah.
At some point.
And you know it's sad when Dean and Ginny have more chemistry. And they're not even really shown together. You just know that they are.
Well, they shouldn't... They were, like, used for, like, one joke to further Ron and Hermione's awkward thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're just smacking lips.
Yep.
Like, pretty hardcore. And it's just like, what if we did that? It would be fine. Ugh. And Ron's just like...
That's also an uncomfortable situation.
But yeah, like, as I was saying, with the Half-Blood Prince, you know, all the bad guys sort of just kind of stand around like a library room. Or like a lounge.
Yep.
It's just like...
And they're just kind of there.
You're not true to the cause of Voldemort, you know?
Yeah.
But there's like no like uncertainty with like these people. Like these people are so bland. Of course they're with Grindelwald. They're just there to kill kids or whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, they're pretty... Yeah, they're just in the background.
They're just cold, sweaty, and callous.
Yeah, and that's there's no development to like why they're even there or who they are.
Yeah, it's just like, Grindelwald's just this really engaging personality that's played by Johnny Depp.
And now we have, oh gosh. Harrison can't even say the words Johnny Depp. Harrison, so explain to me, why do you hate Johnny Depp as Grindelwald?
He just looks so dumb. Just like, ugh.
With his, like, white hair and stuff?
But that's not what you need for, like, Grindelwald. You need, like, a pretty engaging... Like, Ralph Fiennes did a very good job as Voldemort, even though Voldemort on paper is a little bit bland.
He did good.
A little bit
Ralph
flat.
Fiennes was good, yeah. I liked him a lot. He got
had, like, a presence.
Old, though, at the end of the
but
series.
then... Like, Grindelwald is, like, definitely written as, like, this guy that can, talk anybody into what he wants to do. He can manipulate everyone. He's very charismatic and, like, very caring.
Right.
But he was just, like, so cold and callous.
Yeah, he was very
like, for every
standoffish
scene.
And flat, too. He didn't really, like...
You know what? We're gonna do full spoilers for this movie. You shouldn't care about spoilers for this damn movie. For this goddamn movie.
Hey guys, Harrison here. I just wanted to say before we get into the rest of this review that just ended up talking about the plot, because that's the worst part and the only part to talk about in this movie, because it just gets in the way of literally anything good about it. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of spoilers, but you shouldn't care about spoilers, because it's just about people getting punished for their crimes, like how I was punished for being a fan of the first Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, so if you're not interested, come back next week. And if you're not, we have some good points, but it's kind of muddled about how truly painful it is to talk about this film. Or you can just wait till the next Fantastic Beast. That's all this movie is. Really tells you is to watch the next Fantastic Beasts. Hashtag 3 more movies.
Okay, so the last scene, I just want to break down Grindelwald scenes. Actually, we'll do it character by character, because that's how this movie is divided up. Because it's just a set of character stories. There's no actual real plot. There's no main plot that gets resolved at all.
I would agree. Yeah, it's just a setup for.
So
other
Grindelwald
movies.
is the title character, the titular Crimes of Grindelwald, and his first scene is like the big prison escape thing. Is like, yeah, it's pretty threatening, and then he has his weird kind of jokes. He has these kind of jokes, like how Hux had in The Last Jedi, where he's like talking to this little dragon thing that was holding him.
Yeah.
That's main power is just doing a field where they can't escape, but it doesn't do that on the actual. Like he's just, like the dragon's just there to bite.
Yeah, it's just like this creepy
One of the
little
guys that doesn't even
lizard
die.
thing, lizard dragon thing.
Yeah.
And it bites a dude who doesn't die. And then he holds the lizard dragon, who seems to be like his pet.
Yeah, he's like, hey, he has a name for it, and he's just like, whoa, he's just like, needy little thing, and then callously throws it out.
And just throws him out the window,
Like,
and you're like...
And that's his whole performance.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing.
That was it. So there's that whole build-up where you're like, oh, Grindelwald's got this creepy, cool little pet thing, is gone.
That's gonna protect him in like a thing, like a magical barrier.
Right.
That could trap somebody or something. That could play. He's like, nah, he just Avada Kedavra's people.
Yeah.
You know, and the next one, he's looking for a house, so he goes into like this posh French house where they just kill everyone, including the kid.
Yep.
And he's just like, oh, we don't have to kill the kid. Just as someone kills the kid. And he's just like, he just doesn't care about anything.
Yeah.
Except for like, he doesn't care about anything. He acts like he doesn't care about anything. He's always written like all these speeches, like all those hokey villain writing of just like, no, I'm not selfish. I do everything for the people of the wizards.
But he's clearly like very selfish and just doesn't care. Yeah, even like his own follower. It's not like at least. So like Voldemort, right, is like mean to his followers and like bad, and he wants power.
Yeah,
and
he just
stuff.
wants
but
to kill
everybody
everyone.
knows that though. Everyone's like, oh, Voldemort like wants to be in charge, and that's why we're gonna follow him because I'd rather not get killed by him.
Yeah, I'd rather not get killed than
but
get
Grindelwald's
some little bit of
like
power.
not even threatening to kill his own people that much. Like, not saying he wouldn't.
Yeah, he just always says that like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
you don't have to kill anyone.
Yeah, he's just like passive.
He has no values.
Yeah.
Like his values are like, yeah, people should be free, and then just like he just kills whoever to like have like a nice apartment or something.
Right.
That's like the one thing he does, and then he like kind of believes people he kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
He's wrong a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, he talks to Credence. He's trying to.
Well, he's trying to get to Credence.
Trying to get to Credence, so he hires a ministry guy.
Oh my gosh, the ministry guy.
Actually, we'll get back to their relationships.
Yeah.
We'll do Credence next. And then so basically Grindelwald goes, and he basically sets up a few dominoes to fall to have Credence fall towards him. So that way he can have an Obscurus, so that way he can kill Dumbledore. Like, that's his main goal of the movie.
Right.
Which is pretty good to have, like, a main motivation. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
if you want to end Dumbledore.
Yeah, if they just want to say it and they say it, just like, yeah, Dumbledore's kill. I'm gonna just need this Obscurus to just kill everything in Hogwarts, including him.
Yeah.
Like, that's his main plan. Yeah, and then he just talks about his other lackeys, and they're just like, oh, Dumbledore?
Yeah.
Like, they just gotta kill him, and he's just like, yeah, well, you know, it's dangerous. And I can't do it, because it'll be revealed later.
Yeah.
He has, actually, they did do a good job of just, like, having a few relationships with him. And, like, having a few relationships with key characters, and those, like, kind of don't get in the way of each other until the very end, where they're just smashed together.
Right.
Because in the final scene, a classic, with a good villain, you know, it'd be just like Pack stands in front of, like, his big speech about how things are cool. But he just goes up on stage, vapes World War II, and then...
Vapes World War II.
And then goes... and then says, hey, stay sick, spread the word, finger guns, and then he just kills all the auras with, like, fire dragons.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it is that messy in the film, too.
The worst part, though, is with the ring of stupid flames he has. So, like, in the trailer, you see, like, the blue flames. That's all that is. It's just a ring of flames. And then he's not really... He's just kind of spinning. He's, like, slowly turning around in a circle as the camera follows it. You know, looking around at the different characters.
Yeah.
And the flames just go up and, like, slowly kill off the auras.
Yeah.
And the auras are just, like, run away. They don't even fight it.
Yeah, but,
like,
but he's not letting them escape.
It's just...
He's, like, scared. He just waits... Yeah, so Grindelwald's main strategy of this scene is that he wants one of the auras to kill, like, somebody in the crowds, and they do, because they're idiots.
That's fair, yeah.
And then...
That does happen, yeah.
Yeah, that just sets off
but it's like a
revolution.
Self-defense thing, though, which is...
Totally, a revolution.
A revolution, air quotes, that's right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
The most anticlimactic, probably, end scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, like, the movie wants to have everybody that's not Newt, or Jacob, or Tina, or to an extent Queenie, just be the bad guy.
Yep.
And everyone else is just painted as, like, kind of a jerk. But, like, they have one quality that makes it okay, you know? Like, the only one that ends up, like, an actual good person is, like, the brother Theseus.
I didn't even know. He's, like, they try to paint him as a bad character the whole movie, and he's not. He does nothing wrong.
Yeah, and then people just, like, understand it by the end of the movie, which is good.
But I feel like I understood him in the first scene.
Yeah, we'll get to that, actually.
Okay, yeah. It's just, like, who's the next character?
Also, we just watched this on the screen. One of my favorite moments about Half-Blood Prince is when Hermione uses just says, like, a phrase to get birds to kamikaze Ron.
Kamikaze Ron. I like afterward. How Hermione's, like, a caring person.
Yeah, she, like, cares about all the house elves and everything, but then she just kills birds.
Then she just, like, straight up murders birds.
Just, like, a flock of family of birds.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, for just, like...
Why don't you shoot your wand at him or something? It feels like... Well,
yeah, just smack him.
Yeah, I don't honestly understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking, I just wanted to lead that into the beasts of this movie. Grindelwald uses, like, beasts, like fire dragons at the end, and it's like...
They're not even real beasts.
God, this movie's so messy. I can't even talk about it. I need to pull up a summary.
It's just a spell. That's all they're not even real animals, or, like, real magic animals or whatever. It's just his stupid dragon spell. And the whole last scene is, like, he's gone. And then there's a bunch of these blue fire dragons. And the good guys have a bunch of red fire, and they're just trying to, like, block the fire dragon, and then eventually they do, and it's pointless.
Okay, let's see the video. Okay. Jesus. Ugh. Man. Okay, Grindelwald's story's done. You know, he just sort of is threatening a lot, and, like, leaves on his power, and then he goes, and then he gets Credence to go out of there. We'll get to Credence in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the problems with Grindelwald is that it's badly acted, badly written, bad thing. It doesn't, like, give any juxtaposition to, like, any of the ideals of anybody, because he doesn't have any ideals to juxtapose, you know? Like, in the last one, everyone against Newt is against beasts, because they think they're dangerous and he thinks it's causing him. But then really it's just this, like, other secret twist of, like, Credence is, like, oh, he's accidentally destroying things, like, kind of proving just, like, oh, this is, like, the extremes of, like, how beasts are dangerous and what he wants to help them with.
Right.
And then any ministry in these movies are bad, and they just try to kill him off.
Yeah.
Actually, let's go through Jacob's stuff.
Okay.
Because he's, like, kind of in the background, and, like, the last act kind of does actually forget him.
Pretty much.
Which is ridiculous.
Shows up, yeah.
Yeah.
So he shows up.
So he shows up with Queenie. Queenie's like, oh, it's so fantastic. We're going to get married. And he's clearly, like, hexed by her again.
Yeah.
And this happens constantly. And he's just like, oh, that's not great, but we just can't get married. That's not really a good idea. Because, you know, I'm a baker, and you're a wizard.
Muggles.
A witch, I mean.
No magiques cannot marry.
No magiques cannot marry wizards.
Wizards? Yeah.
Wizards.
So, that's the whole conflict with them.
Yeah, and then they can't...
Then they split up.
And then they don't talk about it. He's like, I'm going to talk to Tina. And then Queenie gets lost for, like, half a day.
Yep.
And then Grindelwald's supporters just, like, grab her.
Yep.
Well, not grab her, just, like, help her.
Help her, yeah. And then, like, she gets, like, seduced.
Yeah, and then Grindelwald talks to her for, like, a minute. And he's like, oh, get it? He's so persuasive, he's so that. But he just talks it the same way he talks about his evil plans, the same way he talks to everybody.
Yeah.
So, and people just sort of believe, just like, he just is so vague about everything. He's just like, you want to love, don't you? You want to be free to love. And he's just like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
just
so like lots of people.
You could kill people who don't want that.
Yeah. It's poorly done, his persuasion. And you're like, I'm not personally, I'm not convinced.
I'm not really persuaded.
But, okay, I can see how that would not work on anybody in real life.
Has that same sort of weird distant smile he does for, like, a lot of his characters that aren't Jack Sparrow. It's like a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, then after Queenie goes to Hooler... Yeah, actually, honestly, Queenie's whole story is really boring.
Yeah, it's very boring. It's supposed to... This whole movie just acts like you care regardless.
Yeah.
Like, it does all these sort of changing characters.
It does nothing to earn our trust again. It just, like, assumes that we were already super invested.
Yeah, it assumes that all these emotional cruxes are just...
Yeah. Problem with it, though, too, is that it's like we're saying, you assume that we love all these characters in this universe. It's like, well, first of all, now you're in France. So you're not even in America anymore.
Yeah, you're not setting up France at all.
We're just in
The only thing
France,
that sets up
man.
about France in this movie is, like, New York is a backdrop. It's a location. Like, I think these movies would be great if there was just Where to Find Fantastic Beasts in Paris, France, you know, just an all over, like a really widespread global sort of race against Grindelwald. Would have been a very good film. Like, it starts off in New York, which is, like, a pretty big pivotal role of, like, all the characters are defined by, like, how New York they are. Right. Like, Jacob, as we were talking about, is, like, a New York guy. He's just along to just help out.
Tina and Queenie.
You know, a little strong, is, like, a little bit confused, but, like, feels that wonder of magic that we get introduced to again after so many years. And in this movie, he just does kind of the same stuff, but, like, with a bit more nuance this time. He's very... They're definitely rock solid. Like, Dude and him are just a rock solid team.
Yeah.
And just, like, really good pair.
They are good friends, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, like, on the other, Half-Blood Prince is, like, all about, like, their relationships with each other. Like, the main one is, like, sort of romantic confusion, which is what drives, like, 2 of the 20 conflicts in this film.
Half-Blood Prince, or what are you talking about right now?
Fantastic Beasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the only way I can, like, think about the structure of this movie is compared to Half-Blood Prince. Because it's just, like, a 5-act setup for 5 movies.
No,
that's all Fantastic Beasts is.
That's the problem with watching it, too, is, like, you're at the end scene, and you're like, oh, no. This has to be the end of the movie.
I did laugh.
It's been about a few hours, and then you know that nothing's going to be resolved.
Just laugh. I did generally find it really funny how it was ending.
I saw that. And I was like, oh, the fire's just gonna... Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, they're not actually... Oh, they're
that's
fighting...
the problem.
Oh, they're fighting a fire.
Not the gay wizard Hitler.
Yeah, they're not...
The problem is the fire.
The fire, because the wizard Hitler escaped. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of character arcs going on with... So there's this other character... Oh, shoot, what's her name?
Lita
Lestrange.
Lita Lestrange was, you know, it was a seed planted in Fantastic Beasts. Big Isle of Mystery, played by Joey Kravitz, which, as an actress, has done bad stuff, and now has done more bad stuff. She's the boring one, I think. I presume.
Probably, I don't know.
I can't imagine her being funny.
It was just... Yeah, her whole character in that movie was...
Yeah, her character
so
was
pointless.
Written to be
She's
the real sympathetic, emotional crux of the film.
Right, but you have no emotional connection to her whatsoever anyways.
Yeah. And they just throw, like, all this tragedy at her.
And then it turns out that her whole story arc doesn't even connect with the main character, so it doesn't really matter. Well, not the main character side, but, like...
But, like, the story, like, the main sort of big questions that the film tells you to ask.
Yeah, and it doesn't have anything to do with that.
Do you a terrible answer?
And then it comes out of nowhere.
This movie is, like, sort of the epitome of, like, J.K. Rowling's approach to, like, the Harry Potter canon afterward. Like, she always wants to tell you what questions you should be asking, and then tells you an answer that you didn't want.
Exactly, yeah. She takes fan theories and questions, and she's like, oh, these are really good bases for, like, ideas. And then she just, like, throws those out and gives you something else that has no backstory whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. There's just a lot of character homages, too. Like, they have young McGonagall and a couple...
Yeah.
She's, like, kind of in the background.
They're, like, pretty... Like, every actor's, like... Except for Johnny... Every actor casted in this film is very good. And, like, young...
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Newt Scamander was cast as a young actor.
That was good.
And he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that kid was spot
on.
on.
The kid that played Newt Scamander.
Dead on to Oscar winner Eddie Redmayne, which is always a thing.
He did very good.
And then Leto was bland enough that the young actress did a better job than her.
Yeah.
I think.
I would agree. She was pretty good.
Yeah, Jude Law is a fantastic Dumbledore.
Jude Law is very... Yeah, okay. Talking about good things about this movie.
Yeah.
Jude Law as Dumbledore, very good choice.
Very good.
He does a good job.
He's very sort of whimsical until he's just, like, kind of bummed out.
Yeah.
And, like, fearful. There's, like, more than just...
He's, like, more...
that going on.
He's less wise as Dumbledore, but you can still tell that that's Dumbledore, though.
Yeah, he knows the right way to... I don't want to say he's less wise. I think he knows, like, the right way to do things.
I think he does. I think he's just more fearful.
He just knows what he can't do.
And stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, stuck in whatever
Yeah.
deal he had going on.
Yeah. For sure. He's a good character, though.
Yeah, Dumbledore's pretty good. Newt Scamander, Jacob, Tina are all pretty good.
Yeah.
Tina gets a lot less stuff to do, which is saying something from the last Fantastic Beasts.
That was kind of a bummer.
Like, in the first one, like, she should have had way more to do. She was very good.
She was,
After she had some good stuff.
She doesn't show up till later.
There's a little bit more than that. And then in the second one, it's just that, but less.
Right.
Which
Pretty
is
much.
severely disappointing. But yeah, she's always good, has great chemistry with everyone in Newt. Like, that was, like, the last emotional thing that, like, kind of mattered. Yeah. Was, like, there's, like, an interaction or two with her and Newt.
Yep.
Which is how this movie sort of cared about, and then everything else just became...
Yeah, that's the only relevant
story,
part.
Just world-telling.
Yeah.
Of everything.
But doing, like, a poor job at setting up backgrounds for other places.
This movie has practically no world building.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Like, any sort of world building that happened in the previous movies, and they know that you nerds know that. And
all they built really
was just telling you about some stuff in France.
Yeah.
And then some stuff about their past.
It's like saying, I can imagine what the French Ministry of Magic would be like. I would just imagine that. Like, you accept that if, okay, New York has one and London's got one, France has one too.
Yeah.
And that's all this movie does is confirm that.
Just confirm
Suspicion doesn't do anything to...
It's just...
Like, make that make sense. Oh, so what's the deal with that old chick that's at the secretary desk?
So, there's a secretary at the desk.
That's so weird. She clearly knows. So, what's this? Newt and Tina are sneaking into the ministry towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, Newt pretends to be his brother.
Yeah.
And they look like they're themselves. And then they say that Tina is Lita. Lita is African American. Just figure. So, like, they're clearly different people.
Individuals.
Yeah. And then this old lady at the desk is like, okay, go ahead. But she's, like, kind of creepy. And then turns out she knows that they're imposters. And...
Yeah.
Like,
and then she's just like, she sets a trap for her familiars, which is a thing now.
Yeah.
I've never heard about that in Harry Potter before. Just like Siamese cats.
With weird eyes.
With just like, classic Egyptian sculpture eyes.
Yeah.
Just like ready to attack. And then a pretty fun action sequence comes from that, so you can't really...
That's actually pretty good, yeah.
...complain, I guess.
But, her that one character is just...
Yeah, every bystander in these movies are just like... Some guy that's just like, gotta get to work that one day, just doesn't care about anything else wizarding.
Right.
Or just like a creepy snake lady that's gonna chomp on him.
Oh my gosh, speaking of snake ladies, they introduced the character Nagini, She's friends with Credence at the circus.
That was her name?
Nagini, yeah. She's Voldemort's snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Voldemort's snake?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's
that's the whole point of that character.
Yeah, because one of the exposition from one of it was just like, yeah, and one day she'll be a snake forever.
Right. You're like, okay. So there's a lot of just that happening. Like, we're going to throw out this character that you all know.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to give you a little backstory on that character.
Guess what?
Nagini,
she's tragic like everybody else in this film.
Does Nagini even have a line? I don't even know.
She does. She's like, Credence, you're a good person.
Oh, yeah, she says, like, yeah, I guess
Credence,
she's
this is your mother. Credence.
Credence.
He's bad.
She just follows Credence around. Yeah.
Credence.
And it seems like Nagini's got some interesting moral compass going on. At least in this
Like she
film.
has one.
So I don't know how she becomes Voldemort's snake Horcrux later.
Probably just a
I want to see them twist
snake.
that around. That's going to be interesting.
Gets like, does the Voldemort heads just sort of swivel.
Yeah.
And then just becomes this full-time snake.
That's an unfortunate way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that character's totally pointless. She's just there with Credence.
Yeah.
And like doesn't help Credence really with anything.
It was a cool effect for a bit.
It was.
Everybody's a cool effect in this film.
That's fair.
Which is something.
I would say the one character cameo I was very appreciative of was Nicholas Flamel. I thought that was just funny that he's immortal, but his bones age like normal, so he's just really old and weak.
Yeah, there's just this old alchemist.
Yeah,
that like is set up like he sort of looks in a crystal ball. It's a prophecy about how the film's gonna end, because it's like, ooh, what a stinger! What a stinger to this film! I'm gonna be forced to finish.
To be in, yeah.
Yeah, and then he solves the problem, kind of.
And it doesn't really explain who Nicholas Flamel is, though. Still.
Yeah.
I've never got that, even from like the books.
Yeah. What is he in the books?
Yeah, he's in like the first one. I think he is doing stuff with the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
do you remember that? No. Oh no! Nicholas Flamel's like a real character from the book.
Yeah.
Like he's only talked about though.
Okay.
We already know he's like an alchemist and stuff. So he like pops up. That's why people were like, when he showed up in the movies, because Nicholas Flamel's like a real person.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's a comic relief guy.
Yeah, he's pretty much just kind of funny, and really old.
Yeah.
Like 375 years old or something. But yeah, he was interesting. He just kind of showed up.
I'm already bored thinking about this movie. Oh, I'll talk about another thing I like. We go to Newt's apartment, and like that whole this movie, like the beginning of this movie is very good because setup is in the beginning and not the whole movie, but the setup just keeps happening throughout the movie.
Right.
So the movie just generally drains you.
That's so well worded. You're like, oh sweet, okay, we know what's going on. You're like, oh shoot, they're still making up crap. No one's answering any of these questions that are coming up.
Yeah.
And then they try to fit all of the conclusions into like a 10-minute scene.
Dialogue flashback. It's just...
And then it turns out it doesn't matter anyways. And it's pointless.
So so it does that thing in Harry Potter films where like the background fades across and then it shows like what one of the characters is talking about.
No, it doesn't. It does that in the memory scenes, I think, but does it actually?
Well, it did sort of like a pseudo version of that. Like, yeah, in the memory scenes, they look in the sort of like memory pot, the exposition pot.
You're talking
in Dumbledore's
about
office. But in like Fantastic Beasts, they just do that effect around when a guy's just telling everyone their story, but they're obviously not seeing it.
No one's seeing that, except
and then
the
we're
audience.
just seeing that's probably the most blamed looking part, which is really weird.
It just doesn't make sense to like the whole plot.
It's like the man's flashback.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. It was French.
Yeah, something.
Fella that was a Lestrange? No.
He is No, he's not.
He was one of the purebloods.
He's a pureblood, but his sister is half Lestrange or whatever.
half Lestrange.
Yeah, he's also kind of.
Yeah, it just got really dark.
It got
very
real
quickly.
dark and real kind of pointless.
I think edgy actually. It got very edgy.
It tried
like
to
the
get
whole
edgy.
thing was that like
edginess.
The reason Joey Kravitz's character just sucks and is kind of sad all the time and people make fun of her is that... Actually, I'll go in order of the actual flashbacks, even though it was the wrong order to go. So, there's a detective in France that Tina meets, and he's like, yeah, maybe we can work together, but then he's a bad guy. Because you're like, he has to kill Credence, because everybody needs to kill Credence.
Yeah.
You know? But he had sort of like a unbreakable vow with his father to kill like some tycoon that like mind controlled his mother and then raped her.
Yep.
And then had a baby with her. Yeah, very edgy sort of historical stuff.
You think that would happen a lot more often?
And it's like it's kind of racially charged too, which that wasn't very good to have in a movie.
Yeah.
For children, relatively, I don't think. But
yeah, I'd say that's...
Yeah.
It's because the first
because there wasn't a point to it. They don't address it, but it's like
there's not really.
Yeah.
He's got this whole vendetta that turns out that like.
Yeah, his mother was just enslaved against her own will with like illegal magic.
Yeah.
And then that baby is that, and then she dies.
Yeah.
And then the guy has another baby, which is a boy, which is people think is Credence throughout the movie. And we know that because people always talk about the rumors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Half of this... I want to say half the exposition, because this movie is all exposition. But a lot of the exposition is just talking about, oh, do you not know of the rumors?
Yeah.
You know, I think the only time that ever worked was in Isle of Dogs, when Jeff Goldblum's character is just like, hey, you heard about that guy, right? He's just like, oh, what gossip? And it's just Jeff Goldblum talking about gossip. And that's how they got around that.
Goodness.
But yeah, he goes to search for a person that was loved by this really tycoon, this really I can't really describe the tycoon. What's a word for it? Not white supremacist, but
well, what was it like the
white privileged? Yeah, just like the white privileged French.
I don't even know what he was. Probably some...
Yeah, he was very rude.
Famous dude.
But he only loved his son. And...
Yeah.
And then it was revealed that because he loved his son, the French detective had to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he made an unbreakable vow to kill one person he loved.
Yeah.
And so he had to find the son. Because the daughter was never loved. Zoe Kravitz was never loved.
Right.
And yeah, but then another flashback happens inside of that where she interrupts him and he's just like, no, I didn't do it. Like, it did the thing in scenes, because it was a terrible thing in writing where it's just like, come on, I know he's your brother, and then he's just like, no. It's just like, it's the truth, and then they go, it isn't. And it's just like, of course it's the truth. And then they do a sad face, like, look at the ground, just like a... Yeah. And then it goes again, it's just like, how could you not know? It's like, because I killed him, because they just don't say it.
Right.
They just don't say it to the very end to build some really artificial suspense in the scene.
But everybody knows. It's like, oh, she probably, like, killed her brother or accidentally killed her brother.
Yeah, accidentally killed her brother. Whatever. And it's revealed that, very convolutedly, she's on a cruise ship with her maid and her brother who cries all the time.
Yep.
And when everyone's distracted by the ship presumably crashing, she switches her brother with another baby that's not crying, just to have a moment of silence. Yeah. So the maid just takes that baby, just takes that baby off the ship because the ship is crashing.
And they're on lifeboats.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's another lifeboat where that mother is holding the actual baby brother.
Yep.
And then the baby drowns. You see a baby drown.
Yeah.
And it just shows that just very beautifully shot. Just sort of shot of just sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
Yep. Which
J.K. Rowling thinks was a payoff, because in a previous flashback to Hogwarts,
yeah,
they did the Bogart thing, which was actually pretty well done.
The Bogart, it is good.
The flashbacks at Hogwarts were really well done, where Newt Scamander goes up, he's afraid of working in office, and then it creates a really cool dragon, which perfectly just sort of represents that. It'd be great if they started off the film with that. Yeah, I think
that's what I thought they were gonna do, actually. Start with the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And then, but anyways. Yeah, the Lita Lestrange's fear was the baby drowning. Yeah,
you just see like a full-grown man just in a cloth slowly gliding down.
Like gliding down, yeah. And then you're like, okay. Anyway, so you have all this background. It turns out Credence is not related to Lita Lestrange at all.
Which that scene also breaks the rules of the Bogart, because I watched Harry Potter 3. I watched Prisoner of Azkaban, which is next level cinema.
It is next level cinema.
But yeah, it goes to that, and it just like darkens the entire room, so that way it creates like this whole like artificial rigging lighting setup for this like one beautiful sort of like lighting down of a death.
Right.
But then Bogart's like, can't do that. Like in the third one, it goes to like a full moon, but it doesn't darken the entire room. It doesn't change reality.
It just shows.
It's just that
what
thing.
you're afraid of. Yeah. Yeah. It was a weird. It was a weird scene, but. Anyways, yeah. So you find that out, and then it turns out Credence is just some random kid, or is he a random kid?
Random kid. So let's go to Credence's story. Good segue.
Yes.
So Credence's story starts off. He's in the circus. He's escaped New York, Snake Plissken style, and he's in the circus with a hot snake lady.
Yep.
You know, we talked about it earlier. And he's just like, "Hey, I found the address of my mother. We should go tonight." And she's like, "Yeah."
They're like slaves, though.
Yeah, they're enslaved because it's a mean circus of magic.
Yeah.
And the guy has a big, goofy beard.
I don't know who would go to a magic circus. That sounds kind of dumb. Honestly.
I mean, it looked pretty fun.
It looked fun, but at that point, though, it's like, couldn't you just do that at home? You like your own magic and stuff.
Nah, it was like the 20s. Everyone was poor.
I guess that's fair.
Because it was whatever.
That's true. That's true. Well, yeah, it's a weird circus. It's got a bunch of weird animals in it. And then he makes Nagini turn into a snake to show people and stuff. And he's kind of mean.
Yeah, he's just kind of mean. Kind of. That whole scene is kind of.
Yep. And then.
It's like, oh, they kind of love each other. They kind of care. Credence is kind of clever. Releases some things that are kind of dangerous.
Yeah, and then she kind of attacks the circus guy, but doesn't kill him.
Kind of attacks the circus guy's shoulder.
Yeah, hits the dude in the arm. They escape.
Yeah, Tina's kind of there, kind of trying to talk to Credence.
Yeah.
Then she kind of has to help a little bit. She puts out one fire.
Yeah, kind of does nothing.
This entire...
And then there's no cops or anything. There's like, oh shoot, and this guy just packs up,
like this literal god beast.
Yeah.
Not a god beast. There's actual god beasts in Harry Potter, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, some pretty.
But they just let that thing
brutal
go.
Creature that's just.
Like, whoa. Okay. So that thing escapes, but then so Credence and Nagini go find the apartment where his mother's at.
Yeah, but his mother is not there. She is long dead.
Yes. But he sees the maid.
She sees his maid that raised him. That's very nice, very kind. Has like 4 fingers, which is pretty interesting.
Half elf, half human.
Yeah, half elf, half human. And sort of like she goes to like, they have like a pretty warm embrace, and he's like, oh, he's finally found something to love. And then, crap, I gotta explain something else in this goddamn movie.
The ministry guy.
So the ministry. Okay, we have to rewind here. So Newt goes to the ministry. He wants to travel again. Because it's got revoked because he destroyed half of New York.
Yeah.
That's because they just blame him for that wholly. So they have to go, and he's going into the British Ministry of Magic, which is completely washed out with color. It is really strange.
Yeah.
Like really bright lit, and that whole scene is pretty well done. He talks to Lestrange and his brother Theseus. We're introduced to.
Yeah.
Who's like pretty strong man, sort of war hero.
Yeah.
That sort of name dropped in the previous film, and his whole thing was done. Like, it does a really good thing camera effect where it zooms in really close on like Joey Kravitz's face to show like he kind of like perceives like her a little bit closer, and like pretty focused on that. He has to like focus really hard on people, and then Theseus is way too close to the camera, which is a pretty good.
So close, it's like uncomfortable.
Yeah, and he's just like trying to get his unemployed brother a job.
Yeah.
At the ministry as an Auror, but Newt's commander is like, oh, I don't really do sides. That's not really my thing. He's not really a fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah. They think like, Newt's commander because he's the one that took down Grindelwald, technically. He's gotten pretty big because of that. Because he, like, technically.
So people want him.
Got that pretty good. And he's like, yeah, we need you to go and kill Credence. And he's just like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fine, we'll do this guy that's clearly bad. Comes out in, like, this room with no doorway. Yeah. Just is hiding behind this pillar, and it comes out just like, oh, Newt. Don't want to hurt him, do you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't expect anything less from a coward. Yeah. Just like, why is he here? I don't even remember hearing his name.
Nope, I don't remember the name. They might have said it once. But
I don't even think Newt and Theseus are like, don't like him. It's like, how could you trust him? And he's just like, oh, he's fine. He's got to do the job because you won't.
Yeah, everyone's like, clearly doesn't like this dude, but they employed him anyways.
And then a awkward hug later cuts back to the scene. He's just like, oh, so I guess I got the job. And then everyone just looks at him like he's an asshole because he is.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and then he's not seen until
that scene with Credence and the maid.
Until Credence is the maid. Yeah, we're back to the maid. He's sneaking around. He goes into the wall. He's like, oh, this guy's really powerful for some reason.
Apparently people can do that now. They can just go inside walls.
And then he grabs a snake lady in there. It's pretty intense. And then he Avada Kedavras. He tries to Avada Kedavra him, supposedly.
No, yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
but then he gets the maid.
Yeah, he hits the maid. Maid's dead, and then he like torments Credence for a second. He like puts a little bubble shield around him.
Yeah, he puts like the little bubble shield around.
And Credence goes in obelisk form and like tries to kill him.
Which is supposedly the most raw and powerful thing.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there with like a shield bubble. Like, nah, man, it doesn't matter.
He's just laughing, and then he just apparates out.
Yeah,
like,
there's no peace.
Okay, so bubbles can you apparates too? Okay.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah, it's dumb.
And then it turns out, oh no, shocker!
Yeah,
sleazy guy works for Grindelwald.
We go to like a waterfront alleyway.
Yeah, waterfront alleyway.
No, not alleyway, tunnel. Oh, waterfront tunnel, and Grindelwald's there. It's just like, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
People will think you are cowardly, but you are strong for not listening to the cowards. Yeah. And he's just like,
thanks, man.
God, I gotta go back to work.
Yeah,
and then he just goes.
Yeah. And then he just
don't see him for the rest of the movie.
Pieces out.
Yeah, Ministry just accepts that he missed.
Right.
And he's just like, yeah, I just made him a lot more angry.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah.
Just walks away.
So now Credence is all pissed about that.
So he sat on a rooftop.
Yep.
Looking after something. I don't know. He grabbed like something. Looking at something, hanging with a snake lady, which they have a little bit of chemistry.
They actually do.
Yeah, so Grindelwald is like, oh, I'm not... Does the line he says so much, and I hate it so goddamn much. He's just like, oh, I'm not here to help myself. But you may be.
Yeah.
You know, actually, that was a little bit too much emotion. Help yourself, but you may be. I'd like to help. And then, yeah, he just gives them a paper to the meeting, which is like a map. That, yeah, and then the entire town gets covered in these drapes that are like Grindelwald drapes.
Oh,
but they don't say anything, except for like a raven. He's just like, what does that mean?
Yeah, no,
he doesn't even show a map.
I have no idea what that
It's just like,
and
nobody cares.
Reacts. They look at it for like a second. They're like, oh crap.
Yeah, that's every bystander, like the direction in this movie. It's just like on the sidewalk, they just look at whatever's going on, just like, and then just keep walking.
And they just like keep going. They're like, oh yeah, it's another Tuesday in Paris, apparently. Well, oh my gosh, the main character's the best part. This Newt and like Tina are like, you know, obviously still shooken up about the whole drapes issue that's going on. And like you can still see them like kind of going back in the background, like the drapes. And then everybody else in the movie is just like there's like a couple with like a dog and they're just going in. There's someone having like a casual conversation, some people selling stuff. You're like, what? Like you can still see drapes moving over all these buildings and they're just going about their lives like nothing matters.
Yeah. I don't know what the point of that is.
I did not understand
There's like some visuals to some of it, I guess. I don't know.
You shouldn't be... Oh my gosh. It's...
Yeah.
What?
Like, Queenie's the only one that notices, like, oh, that has a Grindelwald symbol. I guess I know where the meeting is now.
Well, when like the Death Mark, what is it?
The Dark Mark.
Dark Mark, thank you. When that goes up, people appropriately like freak out.
Yeah, I wrote a Harry Potter fan fiction. I know the names.
Well, everyone like freaks out about it, though, right? You know, like it's not
like,
just the main characters. They're like, oh shoot, look at that! Like, oh, it's still up in the sky and it's still a problem. It gets in like the paper. You know, all
like,
of these.
People are afraid
everyone knows that this is a problem, and then with the stupid.
I don't know. I guess David is just like, she's on a megaphone, just like. Yeah, it's CGI. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's fine.
Hey, you with the dog. Be a little bit happier.
Yeah, I just imagine like 100 background characters in a green screen, and they just don't tell them what's going on. There's like, just pretend like you're in a city and you're just doing like.
You're in
business.
France.
That's it. There you go. We got it.
Well, why is Eddie Redmayne looking so scared?
Why? Don't worry about it.
Just don't worry about it.
You can be replaced. So.
Yeah.
I can find anybody.
You see everybody here? They don't care. That's what you should be doing.
You see one dude. I would pay to see that. One background character like, excuse me!
Just doing the Macaulay Culkin hands on the face, just like...
Just looking around.
I can't believe this! Just gestures to the entire background.
Maybe it's one of those, like... the group mentality things where no one calls the cops because they think someone
else's
will
problem field from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Someone else will probably do it. Gosh.
Yeah, so yeah. And
yeah,
that's...
it was a
and then
scene.
we're still on Credence's arc. So he goes to the meeting. No. He goes to the tomb, which everybody just ends up there.
Right.
That's some real foresight on J.K. Rowling's part, just having everybody just stand around
in a tomb.
In like a dramatic stance.
Yep.
Which everybody is. And then Newt comes in and is just like, what? And they're just like, nah, fine. We'll go to the tomb. We gotta explain this, alright? Can't do this in this crowded hallway.
Right.
They go to this open tomb where... I'll go to Lita's story in a second. So, yeah, they're starting, and Credence hears that the whole story about how the real brother drowned.
Right.
And then he just got switched out, and he's just like, uh-huh. And he's just, like, even more upset.
Yeah, he's like, oh, great, now I don't know anything else about myself.
Oh,
it's like,
I guess Grindelwald's the only way I'll know.
Right. And so...
So the meeting is, like, right in there.
Yeah, it's under...
Grindelwald says his dumb speech about vaping World War II.
Yeah.
And...
His
just
skull hookah machine.
Okay, so... I actually shouldn't just say jokes, because it's a lot more stupid saying the actual thing. So Grindelwald has somebody awkwardly hold, this skull, glowing skull, with, like, markings on it. And that has, like, a giant, like, regular tube. It's not like a magical tube or anything.
No, it's like
a plastic tube with a metal thing at the end.
Yeah.
That Grindelwald has to grab while somebody holds the skull.
And then he's like...
There's just one girl assigned to holding the skull the whole time, and he just...
He rips a huge vape.
And he, like...
blows it.
It's just like a cloud, and then it just happens, and then it just turns into just like a
and
nuclear bomb.
And then for
like people walking to Auschwitz.
Yeah,
and
for
then
like
just all these predictions of horrors.
30 seconds, it's like a World War II documentary.
All the Blitz, which is like, oh, it's like the Blitz, which is like, when you think about it, pretty big deal when the Wizards just ignore that happening.
Well, right.
It's just like the London Blitz. They just in their own little huddled grounds.
Yeah.
Gotta know how much they're affected, but yeah, they go to that, and it's
really good.
Yeah, it's really good storytelling. Really good visual.
Okay.
Really good visual way of showing that World War II happens.
Yeah.
That's in case you didn't know.
I hate it when people use that as like a...
Especially as a future prediction.
Yeah, like, oh, guess what's going to happen? I was like, well, guess what actually happened?
Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Do you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah. There's that one character that could predict the future.
Yeah.
And then the week before Ultron came out, the way they had to tie it in was just like, metal men!
Yep.
And then the episode ended, and then Age of Ultron came out.
I love... Oh my gosh, that show. Quick side note on that show. I loved when they stopped being apart. Like, I think they were going to be for like a little bit, and then they basically said like, no, like, Phil Coulson is dead. Like, you can't revive him. So like,
Josh Whedon said that 4 episodes in.
Yeah, like, we're not making Phil Coulson alive again. So, like, they officially got cut off from the Marvel Universe, and then they just, like, thrived on it still. They're like, the Sokovia Accords. Oh my gosh, like, don't even talk
about that?
Yeah, we know what's going on
Flips
there.
cap on the head.
Yeah, like, the Avengers, you know, just because they're, like, like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? You can't do that. And then they had that one side chick from Thor on it.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, she was cool.
And then the Enchantress was introduced for some reason.
Yeah.
That's the one to just dump on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cute though. How they like.
So more about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
How they try to pretend to be part of the universe.
Goddamn. Okay. Yeah, that's Credence's story. He goes off with Grindelwald, even though the Snake Lady is sad about it. And then it all culminates in this Austrian castle, this mountainside castle, where Queenie's officially evil. We gotta get back to that.
Honestly,
like Jesus.
To save time, Queenie's story, we already talked about it. Basically, she gets seduced by Grindelwald, goes through his ring of fire, and then she's now hanging out with Grindelwald. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Queenie gets kind of sad for a bit.
Yep.
And then gets seduced by Grindelwald.
By Grindelwald.
And they're promised, even though Jacob is like, no, that's crazy, don't do that. And then she's kind of hurt by that, but she's still doing it for him. And she's like by the last scene, she's like proper menacing and like plotting against Credence to seduce him as well.
Right.
And then Grindelwald actually takes her opinions to heart. Which is, wow, what a strong character choice.
I know. What a bold move.
What a hero. What a brave film.
Yeah, it really takes.
Fantastic Beasts, what a brave film.
What a brave film to have the sole purpose to just be a film to set up other movies. I love those kind of movies.
What a hero. What a way. I really feel honored that J.K. Rowling told me to ask questions and then answered them poorly.
And then, oh my gosh.
I'm really glad I know that.
Are we ready for the big reveal?
Okay.
I think it'd be a good closer.
Drum roll, please.
We've pretty much talked about this entire film. I think we've covered most of the bases.
I think we haven't talked about half the characters, which we might stop overhead.
We might stop overhead, because...
I don't know. It's not worth it.
Honestly,
the movie's bad.
The other characters, like, Newt's still Newt.
Newt's really good.
He's fine.
He talks to Tina for a bit, and they're back together.
Yeah. And, so, all the original characters are great.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore's good. And
very good.
Then it just...
And then the final sting, the final promise is that Credence gets a wand, which ruins the whole point of him having, like, Obscurus?
Obscurus.
Obscurus.
I think it's just Obscurus.
Yeah, Obscurus. And
so now he has a wand.
And then he blasts a fireball into a mountain and it's completely destroyed.
It's like Rex.
Dragon Ball Z style.
Rex the cliff, basically.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh.
That was a pretty cool shot.
Yeah, it was a good shot. It looked good. The movie looked
cool.
good. And then Grindelwald is like, oh, you know of the story of the Phoenix coming to a Dumbledore in need. Phoenix pops out. It's just like, what? And then it's like, your name is Atreus Dumbledore. And that was dragged out of... I did laugh at that scene.
Oh, yeah. It was, like, actually funny. I was like, wait, what?
Because it was like Atreus.
Atreus is a stupid name, first of all.
Atreus Dumbledore. Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Atreus.
Well, let me look it up.
Oh, my gosh. Credence is a Dumbledore. Oh.
And apparently it's his brother. Albus is... No. Aurelius. That's his name. Aurelius Dumbledore.
Aurelius. Oh, that's better.
Albus's brother. Brother that's a good 80 years younger than him.
Yeah. It does not... Holy crap. Credence is like a 20-year-old dude. Albus Dumbledore is already like, what, 50 in this movie probably? Maybe 40?
That could just use a wand.
Yeah, and then he just gives him a wand.
Saying a spell.
Zero training.
Zero training, zero saying a spell.
Blast.
Just does a chop, and then a fireball comes out.
Nukes a cliff after figuring out that he's a Dumbledore.
Yeah, a squib. He's still a squib. He technically was a squib. It's fed by the guy who knows what squibs are, Grindelwald.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was
Jesus.
It was just such a magical reveal. It really was good. It made you feel like you could have spent $6 on anything else. Anything else.
You know, in movies where it just freeze framed after a joke, like where they're laughing at the end, it'd be great if Credence just like did a really awkward just freeze framed on that, faded to black, written by J.K. Rowling.
Plays OG Harry Potter theme.
A masterpiece. No, on the credits it starts with a masterpiece by J.K. Rowling.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The Fantastic Beasts will return.
Oh yeah, really? Will they? I hope so. I can't wait to find out who Dumbledore's twin brother is after Credence.
Twin brother is.
Oh gosh, maybe he has another sister. Maybe he didn't kill his sister.
Yeah.
His sister
Dumbledore had an arc. I don't care about talking about this movie.
It's just, would not recommend. I mean, I would watch it for some good laughs.
Yeah.
And to watch Jude Law play Dumbledore.
I mean, we saw it at the Pixar matinee. It was only $6.
It was only $6, so it was not
But it was
bad.
still too much.
But that was, oh gosh, I would say it's $6 too much, bro.
$6 too much.
Rights to watch it in a
Let's
movie
do
theater
some random
alone,
riffing.
And then just
I want to do some riffing on...
the entire time.
There was one part... Like, the main thing that they built the world for France is that every doorway to the Wizarding World is a naked statue.
Oh,
Like, just, like, awkwardly, like, in very public places...
Yeah.
You just have to, like...
And the statues move, and they, like, look around like no one's paying attention. It's like, you're surrounded by hundreds of people right now. So...
the statue looks, not the per people.
No,
Like,
I know.
the statue
The
looks.
statue.
That somebody has to look after is open and just, like, back into it.
Oh, my gosh.
The coats in this movie were great. There's so many coats.
There's a lot of cool coats.
There's a sick leather coat from Tina in the trailers.
Yeah, I like that coat. I liked Newt's coat. I also liked his brother's coat. They were good.
His brother's coat was quite good.
Those are...
Oh, I want to talk about Theseus, actually, because that was, like, the one emotional thing that actually was fine.
Oh,
and, like, pretty well done.
Theseus was a well-known character,
Yeah, he was just a good, solid dude. I just loved the crevets for some reason. I don't want to marry him. Just tried to get his brother down with it.
Yeah, she was weird. She, like, loved both of them. Didn't like that.
I don't think she loved both of them.
Because she said, I love you, and it was, like, kind of to both of them, though. I don't know. She was, like, weirdly flirty with Newt, though.
Yeah.
While being engaged to his brother. That's a warning sign.
Newt was on the spectrum, so he couldn't be in a relationship. That was a weird subtext of that whole thing.
That was also weird. Yeah. No, the brother was cool. He's painted as, like, this kind of weird, not antagonist necessarily, but he works with the ministry.
Yeah.
So you're like, you think he might go bad or something at some point, but he doesn't really. He, like, obviously cares about his brother.
Yeah.
And then
like, Newt hugs him at the end, which is, like, very well earned and very sort of tied together, their relationship. After Blue Dragons got red fired.
Get red fired.
Blue Dragon got red fired.
Blue Fire Dragon got red fired. The dragon was purely made of fire. Yeah.
But yeah, it was edited really frantically, so it was an intense scene.
Yep, yeah. It really was. It was, yeah. Oh my gosh, it was 1 minute of, like...
Just smashing wands.
Hitting the ground with your wand.
You gotta push it harder!
Oh my gosh.
It's getting dangerous! Yeah. A lot of prophecies, a lot of, like, flash forwards and flashbacks, which is a great way of storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
Out of every single way of storytelling J.K. Rowling has learned, she really utilized the best one in just saying a story and then showing a thing that hasn't happened yet.
Yep. Oh my gosh. I think that pretty much concludes all of the things I've been holding in for the last couple days on that movie.
Yeah.
It was...
Thanks for coming, everyone. Coming along on this fantastic journey where we found some fantastic beasts.
Some magical things to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, just watch Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Watch that. Listen to the soundtrack.
Watch that Masterpiece Cinema.
John Williams' best soundtrack of the Harry Potter series.
Best cinematography of any blockbuster, I'd say.
Very good. Very well done. This might sound sarcastic, but we actually love it.
It's very good.
Prisoner of Azkaban. It's really quite good.
Half-Blood Prince is better than this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Same movie. Done better. Kind of. It looks very bland.
Yeah.
It's a pretty movie, you know.
It was.
It was a real dumb broad. But it looked good while working it.
Yeah. All right.
God bless, and we'll see you at the club next week.
Yeah.